I'm Christopher German for KCTV News for Friday, October 17th, 2025. For tonight's broadcast, the stories we're following for you. Officials are looking to add a new train line from Portland to Salt Lake City, and we're asking if that train will stop here in Klamath Falls. And Oregon's efforts to tackle its housing crisis seems to be rooted in the fact that new home construction is to blame. And a pleasant Friday night on tap for tonight. The evening will remain clear with mostly open skies, providing excellent visibility for any nighttime activities. So make sure you tune in every morning for weather from the Skywatch Weather Center with weather from the Klamath Basin for the Klamath Basin. And tonight's news is brought to you by our top story. Advocates are actively campaigning for the restoration of a new passenger train line connecting Portland, Oregon to Salt Lake City, Utah, a route that largely follows the path of the discontinued Amtrak Pioneer Line. The primary goal of this proposed service is to better connect rural and urban areas across the Pacific Northwest and Mountain West regions, providing essential intercity rail service to communities that have been without it for decades, particularly in eastern Oregon and southern Idaho. We reached out to the Association of Oregon Rail and Transit Advocates to ask if that route might include Klamath Falls as a stop earlier today. No word yet. This effort has gained significant traction following the Federal Railroad Administration's inclusion of the former Pioneer route, identified as the Seattle-Denver corridor, which runs through Portland, Boise, and Salt Lake City. One of its preferred routes for restoration in a report delivered to Congress in January of 2025. The FRA's study, mandated by the 2021 bipartisan infrastructure law, noted the route's potential to serve over 1.6 million people in areas currently lacking intercity rail. Organizations like the Association of Oregon Rail and Transit Advocates and All Aboard Northwest are mobilizing to secure federal funding for the next phase of analysis, which involves detailed planning and cost assessment. While the full Seattle to Denver route is approximately 1,647 miles long, a direct Salt Lake City to Portland segment is also being considered as an option, with estimated startup costs running into the hundreds of millions of dollars for infrastructure upgrades and new equipment. Local officials in Boise and Salt Lake City have also partnered to advocate for the rail connection, recognizing its potential for economic growth and improved accessibility. And a 32-year-old Klamath Falls felon was arrested on Monday, October 13th, after allegedly firing a handgun from his backyard. The Klamath County Sheriff's Office responded to reports of shots fired in the 1500 block of Summers Lane, where deputies determined the suspect, identified as Jeremy George Bazuski, was allegedly firing a handgun towards nearby properties from his residence. Authorities quickly learned that Bazuski had an active felony warrant, which prohibited him from owning any firearms. The incident led to the activation of the Sheriff's Office Special Response Team, which contained the area for approximately 5 hours before Bazuski was taken into custody without incident. He was subsequently lodged at the Klamath County Jail and faces multiple charges, including felon in possession of a weapon, unlawful use of a weapon, menacing, contempt of court, and parole violation. And the allocation of state funds for Healthier Oregon program versus the Oregon State Police has become a central point of debate within the state legislature. State budget figures for the 2025-27 biennium indicate that approximately $1.2 billion in combined state and federal funds is expected to be allocated to the Healthier Oregon program, which provides health coverage to low-income residents regardless of immigration status. In contrast, the budget for the Oregon State Police is set at approximately $717 million for the same period. This disparity has prompted strong commentary from some lawmakers. Oregon House Republican leader Lucetta Elmer, among others, has publicly stated that the budget numbers reveal the state's priorities and has questioned whether this spending aligns with the most urgent needs of Oregonians, such as community safety and addressing addiction. The Healthier Oregon program has expanded significantly since its introduction, covering adults of all ages since July of 2023. Advocates for the program, however, argue that it is a fiscal strategy as well as a moral one, as it shifts the cost of care from undocumented residents from emergency room visits and uncompensated charity care, which result in higher hospital costs and insurance premiums, to predictable preventative care that is funded directly by the state. The federal government does not match the dollars spent on non-citizens for this coverage, meaning that the state is paying for it entirely out of the state budget. And Oregon's efforts to tackle its housing crisis continue to be hampered by a significant lag in construction, with the state's housing unit growth hovering at 0.9% annually, notably below the national average of 1%. This persistent underproduction of new homes is a critical element in the state's ongoing struggle with housing affordability and availability. Despite ambitious targets set by the leaders like Governor Tina Kotek, who has aimed for the creation of 36,000 new housing units each year, current construction rates are not meeting the demand. The shortfall has deep roots. Historical data from 2015 to 2019 reveals that Oregon populations expanded by 3 residents for every new housing permit issued, a rate twice the national average. The consequences of this deficit are stark. The state currently faces a severe shortage of approximately 128,000 affordable housing units from its lowest income households. This contributes to Oregon's grim national ranking. The state is 3rd for overall homelessness and holds the distressing top spot for unsheltered homelessness among families with children when adjusted for population. Even with recent legislative changes aimed at easing zoning laws and simplifying the permitting process, the rate of housing development remains insufficient to close the supply gap and improve overall affordability for its residents. A key Oregon official, Attorney General Dan Rayfield, has suggested that the state legislature may need to convene a special session to respond to what he views as federal overreach by the Trump administration. The Attorney General's comments were made in the context of federal actions attempting to impose conditions on state funding, which he argues would require Oregon to violate its own sanctuary promise laws. Specifically, he mentioned the administration's new language in federal grants, contracts, such as those for crime victim services, that he asserts could force state agencies to cooperate with federal immigration enforcement and disclose anonymous or protected information, potentially jeopardizing the state's sanctuary status. Rayfield has initiated legal action to remove the controversial language from the federal contracts, but concurrently stated that the legislature has an obligation to step in and backfill any state funding gaps created by the federal chaos. This suggests a special session could be used to allocate state funds to replace threatened federal dollars, ensuring essential services continue without forcing the state to compromise its laws against aiding federal immigration enforcement. And a widespread series of No Kings anti-Trump protest is scheduled to return to Oregon and other cities across the country on Saturday, October 18th, building on a similar wave of demonstrations that took place in June of 2024. Organizers, including the progressive grassroots networks Indivisible and the 50501 movement, are planning over 2,500 events nationwide with more than 70 locations specifically identified across Oregon and Southwest Washington. The protests are aimed at rejecting what organizers describe as the Trump administration's authoritarian excesses, corruption, and attacks on democracy. In Oregon, large-scale rallies and smaller demonstrations are planned for dozens of communities, demonstrating a decentralized, nonviolent pushback. The largest gathering in the Portland area is scheduled for Tom McCall Waterfront Park from noon to 4 p.m. Other communities, such as Klamath Falls, will host their own protests from noon until 2 p.m. at the corner of Washburn Way and South 6th Street. Other major cities and small towns, including Bend, Eugene, Medford, the Dalles, Hillsborough, Newburgh, and coastal cities like Astoria and Newport are also listed as host locations. The nationwide movement's first day of action in June was one of the largest single-day protests in recent American history, drawing an estimated 5 million participants across the country and tens of thousands in Oregon alone. Organizers emphasize that the upcoming events are intended to be non-violent and peaceful, with a focus on de-escalation training for volunteers. The goal is to build a massive, visible rejection of what the coalition views as a crisis of democratic backsliding and a push against policies affecting civil rights, healthcare, and immigration. And now for a little weather. Klamath County can expect a pleasant Friday night as temperatures gradually cool down from daytime highs. The evening will remain clear with mostly open skies, providing excellent visibility for any nighttime activities. There's no precipitation expected, ensuring a dry and calm night tonight. Winds will be light, contributing to comfortable conditions as the night progresses. Saturday is shaping up to be a beautiful day for outdoor activities and mostly sunny skies and temperatures climbing above average. Highs are expected to reach for the low 70s on Saturday in the Klamath Basin, but clouds will begin to increase on Saturday night ahead of the next storm system. Forecasters are currently predicting this system to be weaker than initially anticipated, meaning rainfall amounts for most areas will be quite light, with even less shower activity expected to reach Lake County and most of Siskiyou County. Rain is likely to push inland throughout the morning on Sunday. However, sunshine should break back out later in the day, regardless of the light rainfall. The system will bring cooler temperatures and noticeably increasing winds, with the gustiest conditions expected in the mountains and across the east side here in the Klamath Basin. Monday looks dry and brighter, with temperatures recovering closer to seasonal norms. Tuesday will see some increased cloud cover, but the forecast is expected to remain dry throughout the middle of the week. Temperatures will also continue to climb slightly as the week progresses. Looking further ahead, long-range forecast models currently indicate a shift toward a cooler and wetter pattern to wrap up the week and head into next weekend, a development we will be monitoring closely. So tune in and get your views counted only at KCTV, and make sure you hit that subscribe button to KCTV on your favorite platforms. And make sure you log on to klamathcommunity.tv for your latest news, weather, sports, lifestyle news, all kinds of cool things on that website that you should be checking out on a daily basis, because it is all based here in Klamath County. And all the stories we're reading for you will be listed on the website as well. So take a look at that website and dig into that thing and find what it is that makes your heart sing on that thing there, okay? I'm Christopher German. You've made it to Friday. We have a beautiful weekend on tap. At least for Saturday, it's going to be quite lovely. So spend your day on Saturday going out and finding something big to kill or to maim or to shop for, or whatever you're going to do to get it. And then bring it home and cook it on Sunday and spend the day with your family and with your loved ones and just eat and be merry and enjoy each other's company. That's what we're doing around here, I think. We just put a giant order into Walmart, and boy, how we have lots to eat in this house right now. So that's pretty cool, I'm thinking. I'll be fat by Monday, I'm sure of it. What do you think of the tie, huh? This is my second day of tie wearing, and I need more shirts, and I need to improve my wardrobe a little bit, because I don't have a lot of shirts that I can wear with a tie, but I will do my best to procure those things and be well dressed for you all, because I think it's important that I put a professional face forward for you, the viewer, and I'm hoping that you appreciate that, and I'm hoping that you like seeing me in a tie, because I wasn't wearing a tie this summer. I was wearing shorts most of the time, and I have long pants on now. I have I've got hard shoes on, and I'm fully dressed, and I'm a grown up now. So apparently that's what happens in October, is I become a grown up. So hey, there you go. Tomorrow, The Basin, or the Klamath Falls Farmers Market is happening downtown. It is one of the last ones of the season. The last one runs officially on October 25th. So you're running out of time. If you've not been to the Klamath Falls Farmers Market this year, you should go down there this weekend and check out what's happening down there. Next week for Skywatch, I'll be doing all the weather. The reason I'm doing all the weather is because apparently Lisa has something top secret that she has to be doing, and she's not going to be available to do the weather. So I am going to be doing the weather all week long, in addition to all the other things. And I have to come up with a question for the BS Coffee giveaway. So I'll spend my weekend doing that, and I'll have a new question for you on Monday, when I will see you all for news. I'll see you for weather. I'll see you for the whole shebang, and you get all 24/7. All next week is going to be all me, all the time. Wow, aren't you excited? I can only feel the energy coming from the audience about how exciting it is going to have me do everything around here. That's just the way it works, isn't it? Huh? Okay. All right, so have a great weekend. Thank you for watching. Thank you for playing along. Thank you for participating. Thank you for supporting this television station by giving us your views of this television program. And we can't thank you enough for all of that kind of good stuff. I'm Christopher German in the KCTV weather or Skywatch, no, KCTV News Center. That's what it is. It's News Center in the afternoon. It's the Skywatch Weather Center in the morning, News Center in the afternoons, and that's where we are today, right now. And I can't thank you enough for watching and playing along and doing everything that you do to support this television station. And I will be at the No Kings protest tomorrow, and I'll be doing a piece about that. You'll see that on Monday's news, I'm sure of it. And unless something big happens and I have to break out with news, I'll probably do an article on Saturday, and I'll do other things on Sunday and Monday, and we'll see how it all works out. But this is the advantage of living in the times we live in. Is there's protests to cover, there's stories to cover, there's all kinds of great things, and I can't believe Medford decided that they didn't want to cover news in Klamath County, but they didn't want to do it, so I'm doing it instead. Boy howdy, isn't that amazing? Okay, I'll stop talking. Thank you for watching. God bless. Good night. Thank you for watching, and we will see you guys again on Monday. I'm Christopher German for KCTV News. And God bless, good weekends for everybody, and I hope that you enjoy them. I'll see you guys again on Monday. Good night.